Hi everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Woo. Thank you all so much for the beautiful birthday messages. You guys are awesome. Yes, I do have an injury on my nose. Asher has a hammock. He had put some rocks in its pocket and I didn't know it. And when I went to billow the material and clean it out for him, the rock launched at my face. So this was best case scenario because, right, it could have been an eye. So that's why I didn't post last week. So let's get right into this week. The first card I would like to speak to was Rhino Spirit. So this is our totem this week, the rhinoceros, but it came in upside down. So its keywords in this deck are overcome any obstacle. But when it's in reverse, it's just a little warning to ease up. Like if you're facing an obstacle in your life and you've been going at it, you know, head first, horn first, makes me think of this, then it's an invitation to chill on that, to step back so that you can get a new perspective, so that you can find new strategy, new tactics. So it's an invitation to stop the fight, to stop pushing against an obstacle. Now, this is interesting because Saturn goes retrograde at the end of this week, and we feel Saturn going retrograde usually 4 to 5 days before, 4 to 5 days after, because it's such a large planet. It's some, astrologers believe it's really affects things, and some think it's because, half the year Saturn is in retrograde anyway, that it's something we're used to. But I think it's just, Saturn being the planet of limitations, Saturn being the planet of where we need to invoke our maturity, our inner mother and father. And when we get this card, it's like, where can we be more disciplined about how we deal with obstacles? Where can we be more structured and strategic about what it is we're wanting to push through or move through? Now, our flowers 2 came out, which I just think this is so juicy. We got sunflower. Its keywords are happiness is at hand. Now, something about the sunflower that whenever this card comes up or whenever this plant is an ally for us, the word phototropism is so important because this is what happens to the sunflower as it follows the sun. It moves its face to face the sun as the sun moves through the sky, phototropism. And it is an invitation when we get this ally to do the same thing, to really be focused on the light, literally, like get out in the sun and let that healing energy move through your cells. But also when, we have this obstacle card in reverse, it's a reminder that you step back from the obstacle, seek a higher perspective, right? Seek a more light-filled perspective, lighten up around it so that you can see maybe a higher vibrational way to respond. But happiness is at hand, and it did come out, upright like this. It's the vibration of happiness we have to reach to attain, right? You have to align with that vibration of happiness. It's always there. Are you aligned with it? That's the question. Because this week you're going to have an opportunity to strategically, structurally create new habits that align you with this happiness that is always there. You are also going to have instances this week where, and I'm seeing this so clearly, of like, there's a decision to be made, you're not really sure what to do, you close your eyes, you turn your face up to the sun, and you simply wait until you hear and feel within your body which direction you need to go. So our second plant ally was Orchid. Its keywords in this deck are sexual energy. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Straightforward. But sexual energy is creative energy. So it's not just that we are going to have an opportunity to explore our sexual energy and perhaps share that with another, but it is an opportunity to access your creative energy. So say if you're single and you don't have a lover, or you're not in a sexual relationship where you're, intimate in that way, then this week is a time for you to become intimate with your creative process. Now, we are in eclipse season with this new moon that happened. We had a new moon in Taurus on Tuesday. It was a very powerful new moon that launched us into really the eclipse season that will be moving through June. So changes are afoot, but instead of us being afraid of eclipse season, because I hear a lot of that, because it's node points, changes that are inevitable, and you can create those changes, or those changes are forced upon you. It depends on how you view it. But with this eclipse season, I really want to invite all of us to this whole idea of happiness at hand, that these eclipses are here to align you with happiness, with your creative energy. And our job is to step back from banging our heads up against the wall or complaining about our obstacles, and really open up and allow ourselves to raise to these higher vibrational states. And that's what this eclipse season is going to be about. It's a level up. It's an upgrade. It's nothing to be scared of. The only thing that I guess we should be scared of is the fear itself that would stop us from being able to attain these higher vibrational states. Now, the crystal we pulled was black moonstone. So this is interesting because, right, we are in an eclipse season, which we will have a lunar eclipse on the 26th of this month, and then 2 weeks later we have a solar eclipse. So we're really being called, pay attention to the moon, the archetype of the moon within our psyche, which is our emotional state, how we nurture ourselves, how we were nurtured. It's the mother, it's feminine, it's yin. We need to be paying attention to that, because when we're in that yin state, right, and we stop banging our heads, we stop that forward thrusting motion to take a space, then the creative energy flows, right? But also we get insight that we wouldn't have access to otherwise if we had not gotten still and had not asked, okay, how am I feeling? What is my body telling me? So Black Moonstone, these are the questions on this particular card for this deck. Have you been searching for answers? Are you looking outside yourself to discover the truth? All the answers are within. Spiral inside your consciousness through dreaming, meditation, and inner journey work. Stay focused on the truth that all you need to know is inside you. Remember that your thoughts create your personal reality. This takes me back to that image I saw of us, phototropism, seeking for answers outside of ourselves, and then realizing, oh wait, let me get still, let me close my eyes, let me turn my face up to the sun and just download what is to come forth. Download that answer. Try it. I think this week we're going to have this opportunity to create this new way of listening to ourselves by working with the sun like this flower does. And of course, if you see sunflowers this week, it's going to be a reminder to, okay, are you in a place where you are in a high enough vibrational state that you are accessing the vibration of happiness? It's a reminder. No matter what's going on, no matter what obstacles you're facing, you have the choice to come from this place or the bullheaded place. And it's funny because the sun is still in Taurus. And I mean, I'm a triple Taurus, so bullheadedness is, yeah. Okay. This card also, its archetype is Spider Woman, the creatrix in many indigenous cultures. The mantras for this week are pretty fascinating. Because Mercury, we are now in Mercury's shadow. It's going to be going retrograde at the end of the month and be retrograde till June 22nd. And it is in the sign of its exaltation. It will be in the sign of Gemini. I feel like it can make this Mercury retrograde easier, but I also feel like it's going to make it more effective, meaning Mercury retrogrades are a time to recharge. And in our society, we don't really know how to do that. We're not taught that. So as we grow, we actually have to teach ourselves. That comes back to this idea of the feminine within, right? This black moonstone, this going in to meditate. But it's interesting when we think about the sun, which is generally, archetypally been categorized as masculine, and the moon as feminine. And when the eclipses are working like this, it's really this dance between the sun and the moon, this dance between our inner masculine, our inner feminine, our drive, and our ability to listen within. So I go within to reflect and find ideas, insights, and inspiration. The next one is I'm conscious of repetitive thought patterns and focus on what I want in my life. Training the brain, when a thought comes in, right? A thought form comes in that makes your body tighten and constrict. It is your job. This is where you have to be your own Saturn. You have to be your own mother, your own father, the mother and the father of the brain, right? As if the brain is a child. To say, no, actually, we're not going to go down that road. We're not going to pay attention to this particular thought pattern. We're actually going to create a new one that aligns with happiness, with joy, a new one that aligns with creativity and sexual expression, right? Because the sexual expression is so key, because when it's repressed, this is where we see violence. This is where we see, I could go on and on. I'm going to stop there on that one. So let's do what we always do now at the end of these readings. I guess it's only been like 3 weeks I've done this, where I want you guys to just think of a question, a subject, an issue. Maybe it's this obstacle that you've been cramming your head against. And we're just going to pick one of these angel cards to see, what's going on with that? What's the message? What message do we need to hear about this issue that we're focused on? Wow. Okay. They just fly out. There's no need to worry. This goes back to that training the brain. When the worrisome thought, when the thought that creates the anxiety comes in this week, be the sunflower. Close your eyes, lift your face up to the sun, and choose a new thought pattern. One that is going to keep you in this state of joy and peace and light, right? Because that's what we are. We are made of light. We're light, just moving a lot slower than the light that we would perceive outside of us. So there's no need to worry. Easier said than done. But doesn't it feel good to get this card? Especially whatever you were focused on, if it has been a source of worry for you, the invitation is to let go, put down the worry, surrender the worry in exchange for peace and happiness. And every time that worrisome thought comes up, do it again. Surrender that thought in exchange for peace and happiness, because that's our birthright. It's our job to give ourselves the structure to attain it, to give ourselves the structure to align with it. That's what this week I feel like is going to be about for so many of us. So thank you all so much for viewing. Again, I'm not taking new clients right now, but I probably will be at the end of June, possibly, trying to make some time for that. Still working on the product line, and that's taking a lot of attention. So wishing you all an amazing week. Of course, if you have questions about the reading, you can email me at info@thegoodwoo.org. Have a wonderful week.